Seeing the Lady Wilson about to kneel, Jacob panicked and hurriedly reached out to support her. But the Lady Wilson was determined to kneel down. She was paralyzed and fell straight down. She thought about kneeling first and then said, to see if Jacob is really hard-hearted. It's useless for the Lady Wilson to kneel for him? Jacob thought the same as Elaine. Although he was at odds with Elaine and even planned to separate from her immediately, he and Elaine agreed on the matter of the Lady Wilson. That is, in any case, the Lady Wilson should not be allowed to live in. So, Jacob held the Lady Wilson in his arms, and said coldly, "Mom, don't come to me to play any tricks. No matter what you say, I can't let you live in this villa." The old Mrs. Wilson blamed sadly, "Jacob, do you still have a conscience? You were born during my pregnancy in October. You moved into such a big villa, and you don't even let me live?" Jacob nodded and resolutely said, "Mom, you will die of your heart. In any case, I will not agree with you to live here. Have you heard?" Elaine pinched her waist and said, "If you still know that you want a face, just leave. Don't wait for me to call the police and drag you out, then your old face won't look good." Old Mrs. Wilson's face was immediately pulled down, and she snorted coldly, and said, "Jacob is my son. My son. He has the obligation to support me. I have no place to live now. He must accept and support me. Starting today, I just live here and go nowhere. If you don't let me live, I will go to the court to sue you. If you move me, I will call the police and say that you abused the elders, and you will be arrested at that time." Elaine pointed at the old Mrs. Wilson and cursed, "You're an old master, you're starting to play tricks, right? I don't believe anyone dares to catch me. If you don't get out today, I will kill you." After speaking, Elaine opened her teeth and danced her claws, and hit the old Mrs. Wilson's face. Noah hurriedly blocked her and said, "What are you going to do? Do you beat the old lady? I tell you, my phone can record images." Harold and Wendy also rushed up quickly, surrounded the Lady Wilson, and arguably said, "It is reasonable and legal for you to support Grandma." Jacob was dumbfounded. He also doesn't know how the law generally deals with such problems, but it sounds like if it really gets into the judicial organs, it seems that he is really unreasonable. Elaine also panicked. If this really makes them succeed here, how will the good life be? They just moved in today, and didn't even get a good night's sleep in this villa. Old Mrs. Wilson, a nuisance, was about to get entangled in it. Wouldn't it be annoying? When the couple didn't know what to do, Charlie suddenly said, "It is indeed his duty of father-in-law to support his mother, but this villa belongs to me, and I have no obligation to support you." Jacob breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly said, "Have you heard? The villa belongs to my son-in-law, not mine. I can't be master here." Old Mrs. Wilson gritted her teeth and looked at Charlie, coldly snorted, "You have been eating and drinking for so many years in my Wilson family, shouldn't you support me?" Charlie smiled indifferently, "I am not legally obligated to support you, so I'm sorry, please go back." Old Mrs. Wilson spoofed and said, "Then I don't care, if you marry my granddaughter, you have to support me. I will live in this villa today. No one can get me out. I will die here." Charlie frowned and said, "You are trespassing into the homes and provoking troubles. If you don't leave, I will call the police to arrest you." The old Mrs. Wilson sneered, "Catch me? I came to my son's house and my granddaughter's house. Why should the police catch me? Even if you bring the Jade Emperor over, I'm not afraid." Charlie nodded, "Since you don't want a face, don't blame me for being rude." "So," he said lightly, "Lady Wilson, since you don't have a place to live, how about I arrange a place for you to live? It includes food and housing, without spending a penny. Don't come to this set with me." Old Mrs. Wilson said disdainfully, "Do you want me to live in the old house where the four of you used to live? I tell you, there is no door. I won't live in such a shabby place. I'll live in New Thompson Villa today." Charlie sneered, "You think too much. The old house is also bought with money. How can it be for you to live in vain?" After speaking, he immediately took out his mobile phone and sent Isaac a WeChat. The Wilson family came to Thompson to make trouble. Say hello and get these people into the detention center for half a month." Isaac quickly returned the message, "Understand, young master, I will make arrangements." At this time, Elaine was really upset with Mrs. Wilson, and she just wanted to push her and drive her out. Mrs. Wilson was too anxious, so she took out her mobile phone and called the police directly, blurting out, "Comrade police, come soon. Help me, my daughter-in-law doesn't support me, and she has to beat me out and let me die out." The police said very responsibly, "Where is the address? Let's send someone there." The Lady Wilson blurted out, "It's in the Thompson Villa area A05. "Okay, please wait a moment, our police officers will be there soon. Charlie just finished sending WeChat." Seeing that she called the police, he smiled and said, "Since the police have been called, then everyone will wait for the police to decide." Elaine was anxious about it. She was very afraid that the police would come and forced Jacob to support the elderly. So she hurriedly said to Charlie, "What police are you waiting for? Throw them all out, or else the police will come in a while, and the old things will be here. Wouldn't it be more troublesome?" Old Mrs. Wilson coldly snorted and said, "What's the matter? Are you afraid? If you obediently clean up a room and give it to me, so that I can live here safely, I will tell the police officer well. Otherwise, I have to take you all to station."